one of the biggest storylines of the league is what are the Browns going to do at quarterback? They got Joe Flacco. I expect him to be well positioned in that hierarchy, that pecking order that they set up early in camp. But then you have the two rookies. I'm told Shedeur Sanders acquitted himself well in OTAs and minicamp. He was throwing with aggressiveness. He was testing the defense. But he was also going against mostly third-team defenses, not a lot of pass rush, seven-man defense. Like, he's got a long ways to go. So really, any conversation with the Browns' quarterback future should involve 2026, where they have 2 first-round picks and a loaded quarterback draft.
Shedeur Sanders just turned Browns training camp into a cinematic thriller, minus the happy ending for defenders. Coaches froze mid-whistle, veterans looked like they'd seen a ghost, and somewhere a playbook burst into flames. What did Shedeur do? Only dismantled the defense with a no-look laser that felt more Hollywood than Ohio. This wasn't a drill. This wasn't a highlight. This was gridiron chaos, live and unscripted. Cleveland didn't just get a QB. They got a headline. Brace yourself, because what just happened at camp? It's the stuff of NFL folklore.
Did one of the two look better to you in what they were asked to do than the other?
In just throwing the ball, it's not close, Shedeur Sanders.
It's not close.
But let me couch that by saying this is rookie minicamp.
Sure.
No pads, no full speed competition, nobody coming to knock your head off.
It's telling they're side by side, and they're not asked to do much, but they're both asked to do the same thing, and that one of them looked discernibly better than the other. I didn't know that we would get that out of this minicamp.
We're standing here, Jay. They're on the field. They break the huddle from team stretch, and they go both pick up the ball and throw it. It's no question.
The vets are hanging in there, barely. Joe Flacco's arm still has life, but watching him toss spirals beside Shedeur is like comparing a flip phone to an iPhone Pro Max. Sure, it works, with some effort, a few creaks, and maybe divine intervention. And Kenny Pickett? He's giving it everything. Grit, grind, you name it. But when Shedeur rolls out and zips a crossbody dime like he's got cheat codes, you can almost see Pickett scanning the field, or the nearest excuse to fake an injury or a trade.
Shedeur is a great kid, and whether it's a following that he's earned, I mean, that's something that he's done a great job of interacting with fans. But he is a great kid. You guys will get to know him more. He's working like crazy, just like all the guys. You know, my office is downstairs. As they got to walk by my office as they come in. They come in early, and Shedeur, just like all those guys, he's in there early. He's getting his work done. So he's working really hard. I like everything there is about Shedeur.
The Browns might label this a quarterback competition, but it's looking more like a crash course in career planning for everyone not named Shedeur. Joe's polishing his legacy, Kenny's Googling QB-friendly leagues, and Dylan Gabriel, he's just relieved no one's asked him to grab coffee yet. The front office thought this camp would be light. Toss a few balls, run some drills, sip Gatorade. Instead, they got Shedeur Sanders, turning Berea into the NFL Hunger Games. Only, he's not trying to survive. He's here to dominate. And the rest? They're just trying not to get voted off the depth chart.
Browns vets kind of weigh in on Shedeur Sanders and how he's been since he arrived in Cleveland, in Pound Town. And I think it's very important that we discuss it, because it'd be really easy for these vets to, this wasn't like a on-the-record interviews. This is just kind of back channels into what the vets are saying, the rumors, but the sources telling us. And we have a couple quotes, but Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland Browns, it seems like it's going well. And it's almost like you don't want to talk about it. Don't say that out loud. You're good at it.
One throw and it's a statement. 2 throws and it's a situation. By the third, there's a cluster of assistant coaches huddled, quietly searching, is it legal to bench a Super Bowl MVP mid-camp? Word on the field? Just a hushed rumor. Is that one Shedeur spiral was so precise, a DB briefly relived his Pop Warner glory days. That's how surgical it was. Clipboards were gripped tighter, dogs started howling, the skies literally brightened. And behind the fence, stunned Browns fans dropped their nachos like they'd just seen football sorcery.
Shedeur is kind of a unique quarterback because obviously his dad is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he's come into the NFL with a little bit of a celebrity status that we don't typically see in quarterbacks. Does that present, do you have to evaluate him in a different sense?
Like I mentioned before, he's been raised the right way. He's got a great way about him. Obviously, when you're the son of a Hall of Famer, there's a lot that goes with that. I think the benefits of that have been really impressive for him. I think you see a young man that understands what comes with this job, understands the work that goes into this job. So I'd say it's been a very big.
And then there's the coaching staff. You know when someone tries to play it cool, like, oh yeah, we expected that? Yeah, no. The head coach's eyebrows are still stuck in the holy crap position. One assistant tried to make a note on his clipboard, but his hand was shaking so hard it looked like abstract art. Behind closed doors, they're probably arguing over whether to accelerate the QB1 timeline or install a special Shedeur-only package, something exotic, something dangerous, something mildly illegal in 14 states. Because what they just witnessed wasn't a practice, it was a warning shot to the league. And then, just to make it worse for the rest, Shedeur pulls a Houdini mid-slim. Blitz comes, pocket collapses, chaos erupts. He steps up, rolls left, launches a dart to the back corner. Touchdown. The defense collapses in dramatic Broadway fashion. Flags are thrown, not for penalties, just surrender. Back on the sideline, Joe Flacco starts massaging his shoulder. Pickett's chewing gum a little too aggressively. And Gabriel's muttering affirmations like he's trapped in a motivational podcast. The coaching staff meets in hushed tones after practice. Just raw talent, they whisper, as if saying it out loud might summon the ghost of quarterbacks past. The quarterback room, which used to be a gentleman's club of veteran decorum, has now become a live episode of Survivor. Tribal council pending.
It feels like Shedeur paid a very clear price for the way they handled it, the misevaluation of where they were at, the pre-draft stuff. We've yet to hear like a good story from all of it. Whatever that price is, a 5th round pick today feels like an excessive price to pay.
I totally agree. But at the end of the day, he's in the National Football League.
Yeah.
He's a Cleveland Brown. Yes, he may be 4th on the depth chart. Yes, he got drafted after Dylan Gabriel. I promise you this. He'll get every opportunity to beat out Gabriel.
Right.
I can also promise you this. If he goes in with the right attitude and it takes the chip on his shoulder, pick 144, and attacks his process, he's going to beat out Dylan Gabriel because he's just better.
Even Deshaun Watson, injured but watching, raises an eyebrow. He's been mentoring the kid, giving him tips, watching film together. And now, even he's low-key concerned that the apprentice just unlocked the hidden chamber and found the cheat codes. Oh, and remember that little speeding incident? 2 of them, one at 88, H108, the other at a spicy 101. Now, normally, that's a sit-down meeting with coach and a stern warning, but in Shedeur's case, people are joking that he was just preparing to outrun the media once he wins the job. And let's not forget, the Browns weren't even supposed to need a quarterback. They had one, they have one. They also have 2 veterans, and then Shedeur, who, according to some anonymous team sources, might have been drafted a little low. Yeah, and water is a little wet. All of this leads to the million-dollar question. What happens when training camp officially kicks off? Because right now, they're still pretending this is an open competition. They're saying all the right things. We like all our guys. Everyone has a fair shot. It's about who gives us the best chance to win. Translation: we didn't think we'd be this impressed by the 5th-round guy who showed up looking like a highlight reel.
Every time that he's been asked to step up, he's delivered.
Looking at these numbers, right, and it seems like it's each day we look at it, looks like Shedeur and Flacco are getting the least amount of reps, and the other 2 guys are getting the most reps. What does that say to you, Duke?
Shedeur handling his business. You don't take what I always say. You don't take all day to do nothing.
So basically, you're saying that they want to see more from the 2 guys that's getting the most reps, and they're a little bit, I would say, more confident or sure about the 2 guys that are getting the least amount of reps.
The rest of the league is starting to notice too. You think the Bengals, Steelers, or Ravens aren't quietly checking their schedules and circling Cleveland with an extra Sharpie? Because If Shedeur starts, you're not facing a rookie. You're facing a ticking hype bomb with a rocket arm and nothing to lose. The fans? Oh, they're already on board. Social media is doing backflips. Every clip of Shadeur from camp looks like it was edited by Hollywood. Slow-mo throws, cinematic music, confetti graphics. It's not training camp footage. It's an Avengers trailer. And it's not just fans. Analysts are foaming at the mouth. If it's even, play the rookie. Veterans plateau, rookies evolve. Give the kid the reps now because waiting won't help. It's no longer if he takes over, it's when, and how much popcorn should be involved. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still the matter of preseason games. Those delightful little exhibitions where you're supposed to evaluate talent and manage expectations. Which is funny, because Shadeur's expectations are now orbiting Jupiter. Game 1? If he completes one touchdown drive, Cleveland fans will crown him QB1 with a golden robe and marching band. Game 2? If he throws another, someone's naming their kid Shedeur Jr. Game 3? Pickett might already be asking for a trade.
Well, you don't play football all the time. You're a human being the rest of the time. And how you're going to be in the locker room, how he already came up with this line of merchandise, legendary, like he's already calling himself legendary. All those things are problems. Right now, he's working check to check, man. Like, he's not going to get a big signing bonus. There's not going to be a big guarantee. Any day they want to get rid of him in the week, they can get rid of him.
Don't we think Shedeur is smart enough to know he's not at Jackson State and he's not at Colorado?
No.
You don't think so?
I listened to too many of his answers. I saw too many of the outtakes. I saw too many times he was working out with other players, and he said things that I thought were highly questionable.
And poor Flacco, he's a veteran, a champion, a steady hand. But he's also the human equivalent of dial-up internet in the age of fiber optics. You respect the history, but you're not trying to watch Netflix on it. Gabrielle? Nice kid. Excellent clipboard holder, solid future in headset wearing. And then there's the energy shift. The whole locker room is vibing differently. The young guys are rallying around Shedeur like he's their class president. The vets are starting to eye him with that mixture of awe and existential dread. Like, oh no, we just got Brady, didn't we? It's like that moment in every sports movie where the rookie scores the game-winning goal, and the grizzled veteran just nods, wipes a tear, and heads for retirement. Only this time, the credits haven't even started rolling. We're not saying Shedeur has already won the job. That would be premature, unfair, and entirely too accurate. What we are saying is that if clipboards had a fear reflex, they'd be hiding in the locker room right now. So now, the Browns organization is in that weird phase where they're trying to contain a wildfire using public statements and water bottles. One coach mumbles something about evaluating all talent equally, while quietly watching Shadeur's film on loop like it's The Godfather. You can practically hear the soundtrack swell every time he releases a spiral.
Shedeur Sanders has been cooking at the Browns' first week of OTA practices. Shedeur Sanders was a 5th-round pick for the Cleveland Browns after surprisingly falling in the NFL draft out of the 1st round. When it comes to the quarterback competition in the depth chart, Shedeur Sanders comes in last in the quarterback room. Kenny Pickett was the first-team quarterback. Dillon Gabriel, the other rookie quarterback who the team took with the 3rd-round pick, was the 2nd-string quarterback. Joe Flacco was the 3rd, and Shedeur Sanders was 4th. But that did not stop Shedeur Sanders from showcasing what he could do at these OTA practices.
And at this point, you can tell the organization didn't see this coming. They were expecting a nice little developmental arc, a redshirt season, maybe some 4th-quarter garbage time. Instead, they got an NFL-level plot twist, where the rookie refuses to read the script and rewrites the whole show on day 2. Front office meetings have become a masterclass in denial. Some execs still pretend Flacco has a decade left in the tank. Others are asking whether Pickett might suddenly surge in week 3 of preseason, right after Shedeur takes the offense on a 96-yard scoring drive using 4 audibles, 3 different cadences, and a wink to the defensive coordinator. There's panic, but it's the classy kind, the one where everyone wears khakis and pretends to be calm while holding exploding briefcases. Someone's printing out Pro Bowl ballots in the back. Someone else is trying to contact Deion Sanders just to ask what his son eats for breakfast. And don't think this drama stops at the practice field. Oh no, the locker room is now a full-blown novella. The energy is split. Half the team is already calling Shedeur QB1 like it's his government name. The other half? Well, they're just hoping to not end up in the background of his next viral clip, getting stiff-armed into meme status.
So far, the things that they told me that Shedeur Sanders lacked, poise, resolve, maturity, necessary to lead an NFL franchise, his response to all the disappointment is standing tall. And instead of hiding, he's in Cleveland doing his thing, strengthens his reputation to people who are already supporting him. And it's exactly why people are resonating with him. You know what's funny about the people that are arguing and calling him cocky and saying that they hate what he's doing? These so-called Americans, isn't Shedeur Sanders representing what you love? You want the government to stay out of your business. You want to say what you want to say and do what you want to do and keep your guns. Being openly defiant and free. Isn't Shedeur exemplifying all of that?
Even the defense is confused. One DB reportedly asked the coaching staff if tackling Shedeur in practice is still legal, or if he needs permission from PR first. Another just wants to know how to request a trade to the special teams unit where the cameras don't catch you getting torched. And speaking of cameras, media outlets are circling like vultures in Armani suits. Every Shedeur throw gets posted faster than breaking news. Headlines are already cooking. Rookie takes over. QB controversy brewing in Cleveland. Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, VS, that guy who just made a no-look touchdown pass. It's delicious chaos, and we're just here for the buffet. But let's talk about what really shook the coaching staff. The leadership. Because talent? Sure, lots of guys throw a football. But Shedeur doesn't just throw, he commands. He moves through the huddle like a general with a cannon for a right arm. You can tell the other players are listening, not out of obligation, but because they don't want to miss the magic when it happens again. He's out there pointing at coverages like he's decoding the Matrix. He's giving linemen nicknames. He's telling receivers where the ball's going before the snap and then actually delivering it there. One poor linebacker tried to talk smack. 2 plays later, he was covering empty grass as Shedeur lobbed a 30-yard dime into the receiver's breadbasket.
Shedeur is 6'2", historically accurate, and I have seen him standing around normal-sized people. He's big. He's a big 6'2". Mahomes is 6'1.5". Aaron Rodgers, you never think about his size. He's 6'1", big calves, big wrists. 6'3", Matt Stafford. 6'4", Jared Goff. 6'6", Joe Flacco. Eli was 6'5". Peyton was 6'5.5" or whatever he was. Dylan Gabriel is noticeably smaller and thinner than Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is not ideal size in the NFL. He is a very, very small guy. Shedeur Sanders, he's much bigger and much bigger.
And when things go wrong, no drama. He shrugs, learns, and goes again. There's no finger pointing, no helmet slamming, just that terrifying, calm confidence you only see in future Super Bowl MVPs and middle children who get away with everything. Meanwhile, every press conference gets weirder. The head coach is dancing around questions like he's on a game show. What does Shedeur bring to the table? Oh, I don't know. Just arm strength, poise, pocket presence, freakish accuracy, elite football IQ, and a personality that makes teammates want to block until they pass out. But sure, open competition, totally. Let's talk about the preseason. Week 1's looming and the quarterback rotation is supposed to be a slow burn. But if Shedeur even looks competent, if he throws a single frozen rope past the second-team defense, it's over. Cleveland will riot in the most polite, football-obsessed way possible. There will be Browns fans on their front lawns building shrines out of orange helmets and shredded Pickett jerseys. Week 2? Let's say Shedeur takes the second-team reps and leads 2 scoring drives. Now, the Browns coaching staff will hold another no-panic meeting while someone secretly orders custom QB1 gear on Etsy. By week 3, if Shedeur sees the field with the starters and performs anywhere near how he's practicing, Joe Flacco might not even make it to final cuts without someone double-checking his AARP status.
No, there was no pads. No, there was none of that. But one of the things I thought that Shedeur did was he had to overdo it. Shedeur has to overwin. Shedeur has to not only win these battles, he has to do it in a way where he's above reproach. I think he did it in 3 ways. I think he acclimated himself well with his teammates. You see taking pictures, you see people already throwing the rollie up in the picture, right? I thought he did a great job on it.
The momentum is real, and it's coming in like a tsunami on a scooter. But the funniest part of all this, Shedeur's still being treated like the underdog. The guy has NFL DNA in his blood, a rocket attached to his shoulder, a media army filming his every step. And still, folks are out here acting like he needs to prove himself. He already did, 10 times. In practice, on camera, against defenders who now fake cramps just to avoid coverage assignments. And it's not just about winning the job, it's about reshaping the Browns' identity. For years, the Browns have lived in QB purgatory, cycling through more quarterbacks than most people change Wi-Fi passwords. And now, this 22-year-old is out here playing like the football gods finally sent them a refund. Which makes you wonder, are they bold enough to actually let this play out? Will they bench the safe options for the dazzling risk that might turn into greatness? Or will they flinch, ride the old wave, and pray Shedeur doesn't torch them with every snap he doesn't take? Because the worst-case scenario isn't starting him too early. It's wasting his momentum by forcing him to carry clipboards while Pickett checks down for 3 quarters and Flacco throws hospital balls to guys who don't have insurance.
If Shedeur, and this is going, I mean, no disrespect to all you Shedeur lovers.
Oh boy, here it comes.
But if Shedeur Sanders was a bona fide first-round pick,
yes,
there will be nothing that will stop an organization from taking
1,000%. You are correct.
Because I just watched, what's the kid from Marshall?
But there'll be people that won't believe you, but you're right. Now, that being said, not that we want to go down this whole road, I don't think he dropped to the 5th round.
I agree. No, I agree with you.
He didn't get taken.
I agree.
Not getting taken in the 1st round.
Clearly, watching him in practice right now tells you that he's better.
And that's the dilemma. Do you play it safe, or do you bet on the comet that just landed in your facility, wearing shades and calling audibles? Right now, Cleveland's sitting on a quarterback controversy, dressed up as a talent showcase. Everyone's watching, everyone's waiting. And every time Shedeur touches the ball, he adds another chapter to the Browns' biggest what-if in decades. But at this rate, it's not a what-if. It's a win, and here we are. Clipboards scattered, coaches sweating, veterans pacing, and Shedeur Sanders casually rewriting Cleveland's quarterback legacy one laser throw at a time. If the Browns blink now, they risk burying a generational talent under fear and seniority. But if they roll the dice, let the kid cook, and hand him the reins, we just might witness the dawn of something legendary. Either way, one thing's for sure. The NFL isn't ready for Shedeur. And Cleveland? Well, they'd better be, because the Shedeur Show is just getting started.